Hello everyone. In this session, we will try to discuss about the actuators. See, actuators are the hydraulic systems which are used to control and as well as to transmit the power in the fluid power systems. The pump drives the prime mover, such as an electric motor, creates the flow of the fluid, in which the pressure and as well as the direction and the flow rate are controlled by means of the valves. The actuators are used to convert the energy of the fluid into a mechanical power. The amount of the output power developed depends upon the flow rate and the pressure drop across the actuator and its overall efficiency. Thus, the hydraulic actuators are the devices used to convert the pressure energy into a mechanical energy. Depending upon the type of the actuation of the hydraulic system, or it may be the hydraulic actuators, are classified as follows. The linear actuators. The linear actuators are the actuations where the actuation is taking place in a straight line, either it may be in the forward or it may be a backward. The linear movement is described by the distance, either it may be in the inches or it may be in the mm. See, which consists of the piston and as well as the cylinder mechanism. The next part is nothing but the rotary actuators. The rotary actuators are nothing but the hydraulic motors. The rotary actuators are the actuators that revolves so that they can move in angular movements. They can rotate with a set angle amount of somewhere around 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 360 degrees, so on. Or even the incremental is also possible. They can also spin continuously. The rotary movements are derived in degrees. The linear actuators. The hydraulic linear actuators, as the name implies, provides the motion in a straight line. They are usually refers to as a cylinders, rams, and as well as the jacks. The function of the hydraulic cylinder is to convert the hydraulic power into a linear mechanical force, or it may be a motion. The hydraulic cylinder extends and retracts the piston rod to provide the push and as well as the pull force to derive an external load along the straight line path. The hydraulic cylinders are classified as the single acting cylinders, double acting cylinders, double rod cylinders, tandem cylinders, telescopic cylinders, and even the cushion cylinders. The single acting cylinder. The single acting cylinders is a simplest form of the actuator, which consists of the cylinder and as well as the piston. The one end of the piston is connected to the rod which is reciprocating inside the cylinder. The single acting cylinder produces a force in one direction by the hydraulic pressure acting on the piston. The single acting cylinders can exert the force in extending direction only. The return stroke of the piston is not done hydraulically, or the single acting cylinders retracts is done by either it may be by the gravity or by means of the spring force. The schematic diagram shows the single acting cylinder. The single acting cylinder consists of the two ports. The one is nothing but a pressure port, another one is a vent port. The single acting cylinder consists of the cylinder and also the piston. The piston is consists of the rod end. The rod end consists of either it may be a spring or by means of the gravity pressure it may comes back. The movement of the piston is done by means of applying the pressure through the pressure port. Once the pressure is applied on the piston, automatically the movement is done, or the movement is taking place. The reciprocatory motion is taking place inside the cylinder. The rod will also starts moving in and out, which is nothing but the extension stroke and as well as the return stroke. The return stroke is done by means of the spring. The next topic is nothing but the double acting cylinders. The double acting cylinders are equipped with two working ports. one on the piston side, the another one on the rod side. To achieve the forward motion of the cylinder, a compressed air is admitted on the piston side and the rod side is connected to the exhaust. During the return stroke, the supply air is admitted at the rod side while the piston side volume is connected to the exhaust. The force is exerted by the piston during the forward and as well as return motion of the cylinder. There are two types of double acting cylinders are there. The double acting cylinders with a piston rod on one side, the double acting cylinder with a piston rod on both the sides. The first one what we are discussing is nothing but the double acting cylinder with a piston rod on one side. The schematic diagram shows the double acting cylinder where the piston rod is on one side. The double acting cylinder consists of the piston and as well as a rod. The piston rod on one side. To the exhaust of the cylinder, the pump flow is sent to the back end port, which is as shown in the figure A. The fluid from the rod end port returns to the reservoir. The retract of the cylinder, the pump flow is sent from the rod end, or it may be the rod end port. The fluid from the back end port is returned to the tank. The schematic diagram shows the double acting cylinder. See, even here also there are two ports is there. One is nothing but a pump flow, the another one is a return flow. Once if the pressure is applied in the pump flow, the piston is moving from left to right, which is nothing but an extension stroke. In the return stroke, or it may be in the once if the retraction is taking place, or it may be in the return stroke, the pump flow has been shifted to the rod end, and from that side the pressure is applied. Once if the pressure is applied, automatically the piston starts from moving from right to left. The pump flow and as well as the return flow is interchanging it depending upon the type of the movement of the piston. The double acting cylinder with a piston rod on both the sides. The schematic diagram shows the double acting cylinder with a piston on both the sides. A double acting cylinder with a piston on both the sides is a cylinder with a rod extending on both the ends. This cylinder can be used in application where the work can be done in both the ends of the cylinder, thereby making the cylinder more productive in nature. The double acting rods cylinder can withstand a higher side the load because they can have an extra bearing, one on each rod, to withstand the loads. The schematic diagram shows the double acting cylinder with a piston on both the sides. The piston consists of the two ends. Even for both the ends, the rods are connected. Even in the extension stroke and also the return stroke, the work is done in both the sides. Even with respect to the ports also, the ports it is remaining common. Once if the in the case of the extension stroke, if the pressure is applied from the port, automatically the piston will start moving from left to right. In the case of the return stroke, from the flow port, the pressure is applied. Once if the pressure is applied, the return stroke is taking place, which is moving from right to left. As the double acting cylinder consists of the piston rod on both the sides, the actuations it can be done very easily, and the efficiency of these type of systems it will be a more when compared to the single acting, or it may be a piston consists of only a one-sided rods. The next one what we are discussing is with respect to the tandem cylinders. The tandem cylinder is used to application where the large amount or the large force is required from a small diameter cylinders. The pressure is applied to both the pistons, resulting in the increase in the force because of the larger area. The drawback of these cylinders must be a longer than the standard cylinder to achieve a equal speed because of the flow must go on the both the piston